Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Patrick de Laive, not de Laive or whatever, but it's a very difficult name, and I'm sitting here with Tomás, Diago. How's my Spanish accent?
You're Spanish?
No, I'm not Spanish, but how's my Spanish accent?
You don't have a Spanish accent. You're speaking English.
No, but Tomás?
Tomás. Tomás?
Tomás
Really good.
Diago.
Tomás Diago. You seem Spanish. Huh?
Yeah,
Spanish, okay.
I can do it a little bit. Okay, so we're here. I'm interviewing Tomás about his company and his experiences in the startup scene. If you have any questions you want to ask Tomás, you can do two things. One is come up to us, just walk up. The other thing is send me a tweet with the question in it, and I'll ask it. My Twitter handle is @Patrick. So @Patrick, it's pretty easy, no last name or whatsoever. I'll monitor that while we're here. Tomás, SOFTONIC. For the people who do not know SOFTONIC, what is it?
Well, SOFTONIC is the place to go to download software for no matter which device you have. It's Windows, it's Mac, it's iOS, or it's Android. And we are generating every day around 4.5 million downloads per day. And around 30% comes from mobile. What happens in the case of mobile is that we are not the only place where you can download the app. And so what we propose is to give advice to users on which is the best app that you can download on Android, on iOS, and then you end up going to the feature store to download it. In the case of PC, so Windows or Mac, we deliver the download directly. Okay,
so 4.5 million downloads a day. How many visitors do you get per day if you do that?
Nowadays, we have around 100 million users per month on PC and around 30 million unique users per month on mobile.
Okay, and so if I ask to the people to raise their hands if they know SOFTONIC, which percentage do you think would raise their hand?
Depends on the country of origin. We are very well known in Spain and Latin America because this is where we started, and we are not so well known, for example, in the US or in Germany or France.
Okay, so let's presume that everybody here is from Spain or Latin America or Germany. What percentage do you think knows SOFTONIC?
In the world or in Spain?
No, here, in this audience.
I hope 50%.
Okay, let's see. Who knows SOFTONIC? Okay, man, you did a great job. That's about 40, 50, 54%.
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't know it, then yeah, you're missing out on a great company. I read some interesting stats about your revenue as well. It's, I mean, this is not a small company. We're not talking about a startup here. We're talking about a huge company. You have about 400 people employed, 440?
Yes, we have now 440 employees, more or less.
And the HQ is in Barcelona, but you have also offices across the globe, right?
Yes, we are headquartered in Barcelona. We have around 95% of the staff is based in Barcelona. And then we have offices in Madrid, in Shanghai, in Tokyo, in San Francisco, in Mexico, and New York. And on the rest of the offices, I mean, all these offices I just mentioned, outside Barcelona, they are mainly sales offices. And in some of them we have editorial staff.
Okay, cool. So you look like a very young guy, but this company is already 17 years old. At what age did you start it? When you were 3 or something? Or
Yeah, well, I started at the age of 22.
Okay.
SOFTONIC is the product of my end of the year university project. I was studying in the university computer science, the 3 years studies of computer science, and then I had to do a project, and my project was SOFTONIC. So I was working in a let's say a private SOFTONIC concept for an ISP called Intercom, and what I propose is, okay, let's do it, but open it to the whole internet, to the whole Spanish internet community, while we maintain the private service for the customers of the ISP. And this is the origin of SOFTONIC, coming from an ISP, coming from my end of the year project, and with very humble beginnings. I started alone, and then I joined with another person. And for some time, we were 2 people using the services of this ISP when needed, asking for favors.
And so that was
1987, and I was 22.
1997. Are there any people, or are there any persons inside that were born after that? I don't see them, but there's a lot of talent nowadays. It's like 14, 15 years old. They're coming after us. So when you started SOFTONIC, it started out of an ISP. You mentioned. Did you have a business model from the start?
No. My only goal was to create a service which could attract a lot of audience and to create a great product. I was not so much interested in revenues at that time, but maybe I was too young. Now I would think twice before launching a product without thinking about the business model. But by that time, I just care about the product, just about the service, and give a great service, and things will go in the right way.
And yeah, you were living in Barcelona at that point?
Yes, I have always lived in Barcelona.
Always, yeah. So you're a Barca fan?
Yes. I'm not a super fan, but I'm a fan of the Barca football club.
And how long did it take before you started to get your first revenues in?
It took us. We started with a premium model. By that time, the online advertising market was not mature at all. We're talking about 1987. Yahoo was born in 1985. We're talking about the early ages of the internet. So you could not make a lot of money from online advertising. We started with a premium service. So the service was free for all the users, and if you wanted additional features, then you had to pay. So it was a subscription-based model. And little by little, we started adding online advertising. Basically, we started with banners. At that time, the only way to make money in advertising was using banners. Then Google started offering AdSense, contextual advertising, so that we were able to add another revenue stream around online advertising. And at the end, the premium side of the business is not important at all at the moment. And all the business right now is based on online advertising. 99% of the business is online advertising.
And when you started to get your first revenue in, do you remember the amount of the check you got the first month?
It was a monthly subscription. It was a yearly subscription program, and I remember the beginnings. But I was more amazed at the activity on the site, than the revenue. I just saw the traffic increased. I just checking how the traffic was growing was more appealing to me than checking the revenues, because that was something. It was not so important at the moment. The most important thing you have to do is to care about the product and see if the product creates engagement, increases the traffic, increases the audience. If it's a product that, of course, is going to be monetized using online advertising at the end.
And you see nowadays a lot of startups raising a lot of cash. You didn't do that. Before you starting to break even, it took you 5 years, you mentioned, in a previous conversation with me. So how did you finance from the start to the point that you were break even?
Well, times have changed. When I started, we had really low budget For 3 years, we were less than 10 people working. And it was not until year 2000 that we ended up being 15, and then the year after 20, something like this. So we really invested heavily in the company 3 years after we started. But we had an advantage back before. There was less competition than now. There were less companies trying to do what we were trying to do. So I wouldn't use the same strategy now. I think nowadays there is much more competition in the startup space, and you need to be faster. You don't have time to waste. You have to go fast, and you need to invest as soon as possible in order to be the number one in your space. So the strategy should be completely different. I understand why people now need to raise more money than before.
And you're also an investor nowadays, or?
Yes, I'm doing some angel investment.
What
Lanta Digital Ventures.
Yeah. What are you looking for in a company to invest?
Well, we're looking for companies who can scale globally. We're not interested in companies that only target one market, for example. We're looking for companies who can expand globally. And we're looking for companies who can scale, offering a service that is easy to scale. One of the key successes of SOFTONIC, of the reasons why SOFTONIC has been so successful, is because it's a business very easy to scale. We can go global very easily, and not all businesses can scale so fast. So we're looking for this kind of pattern, global and scalable. And of course,
because in SOFTONIC it's a matter of translating the site. Is that how you go global, or is there a different?
You could
strategy?
use that strategy. You could translate, or you can hire editors to create or to adapt the content that you have on English. There are different strategies. But as for if we go back to the things that we are looking in these angel investments, we are also looking for companies that at the end have a great product. So product, global and scalable, and the team.
Sure. And what is the average ticket you or Lanta invests in a startup?
We're looking at angel investment, so it's less than 100,000 euros. It's around average 50,000 euros.
So that's pretty interesting. You're just saying, startups need to raise more money because they need to grow fast, and then you invest only 100K, which is nothing.
No, it's a different stage in the investment history of the company. Companies, what they usually start first is with investment from friends and family and fools, and then they should reach angel investment, or they can try to go to venture capital directly. But I think it's wise if you go to angel investment, because you will have to. The clauses that you will have in the contract will be less aggressive than the ones you will get with venture capital, in general. And then once you demonstrate that the business is doing well, has been growing steadily, the product is engaging, then you can go to venture capital. You can increase the valuation, and then you can raise €500,000 or €1 million or 1.5.
And let's go back to the beginnings. So I can imagine when you were 22, you were not the person you are now. Now you're the CEO, you manage 440 people, you have a global company. I read somewhere you had 52 million euros in revenue in 2012, so, and growing at 14% rate, so that would be somewhere around 62 by now. When you were 22, did you and started working for yourself, what was the feeling you had that where could this go?
In which time of the history?
And when you were 22, so at the very beginning.
Now, when you start, when I started, I just wanted to create a great service for the Spanish community, because I could not understand why there was a a great service available in English, which was made by an American company, and I thought, hey, that seems unfair for the Spanish-speaking community, because most Spanish people by that time, and maybe less now, they didn't understand English. It was difficult for most Spanish people to read in English. So I thought it was a good idea to offer the service in Spanish, and I think the idea was really good.
Yeah, that worked out.
It was yeah. I think we have proved that the idea was good. But the idea was not so important at the end, because I just replicated a model which was existing already in the US to the Spanish market. So the idea is for me it's worthless, and what is important, what has been important is the team, the strategy, and the execution. That's really important.
And your role itself, you started building the site and everything. I think, are you still coding?
No.
Okay, so that has changed. And when was that hard for you to change your role?
No, it was not hard for me, because I'm not a real developer. I have the ability. Well, I had the ability to develop, to create the first version of the product. I had to develop everything. I had to do even some part of the designs, and then of course all the coding to build the product. But I was not the best of all the developers. I have never been the best as a developer. I had friends of mine who were much better than me developing. But I just had the ability to develop and launch the product fast. And it was not it has not been my real passion, developing. After I launched the product, I stopped loving to develop, and I started to love to manage the product, to manage people, and to think about the product and think about the features, not executing on the strategy or the product strategy. Just think about the product and what can we improve.
And when the company was growing, I mean, it can't be always sunshine. What was the hardest time for you and within the company, and what did you learn?
Well, at the beginning, you have the feeling that everything can fall apart. The company was very unstable, with we're talking about 10 people, and well, you have to live in uncertainty, in uncertain times, for a long time. You have to live with that. But what's really important is that you still believe that you have to do that, and you are going to be successful. So passion and determination is really important in certain times at the beginning. And then another shocking finding during my experience is that you realize that the people who start with you, sometimes your friends, they might not be useful for the future. And sometimes, I had to lose one friend because it was not working, and it was sad. I mean, you believe that in life everything is good when you are young, that you can work with friends, and if there are problems, you will solve them. I had that feeling. I didn't, but the reality is that when there are problems, you might face also problems with the people that you believe are your friends. And you have to choose if you want to keep the friendship or you want to keep the company. So this is always difficult a decision difficult to make. And over these 17 years of history, there have been times where we have seen declines in revenues affecting us for 6 months, and then we recover again. So you have this kind of rocky times from time to time, yes.
Yeah, I heard that Google had 7 moments in its life where they had to bet the company, and it was quarter fell on the right side, but was there also a moment where you had the feeling, okay, now where I'm making this decision, it can go right and then we're good, or it can go wrong and then SOFTONIC is gone?
Well, I think our most important decision, strategic decision, has been to expand the service in Spanish. In the year 2004, we were very successful in the Spanish market, and we believe that our product will be successful also in other markets. And in order to do that, we had to invest €1 million. So that was a big bet by that time, and it was the right decision. Our international expansion has worked very well, and nowadays less than 7% of the revenue comes from Spain, for example. And we are our biggest country in terms of revenue is the US, just to give you an example. So it was really important to expand internationally. But it could have been a bad bet. We could have lost all the money, and so it was risky.
And say that you would start a new company from scratch again. Would you follow the same path, or would you take a different approach?
No, I will take a different approach. Different times require different strategies. Nowadays, as I said before, you need to invest much more, and there are more competitors, and you have to be. At the same time, you have to be very careful with the cash. You need more investment, but you need to be very careful with how you spend or how you invest the cash. And you need to have a bigger structure. I think it will be totally different. The only thing that I will apply is that make sure that you have enough passion. Make sure that this is something that you would like to do for the next 3 years. Is there anything else better you can do? But once you decide that it's worth doing it, and you have convinced some fools to join you, then do it. But with much bigger investment than the one we had when we started in 1987.
Cool. I'm just checking if there's something going on Twitter. But I must say, I have a very tough Twitter handle at Patrick. Yeah. Does anybody have a question? Raise your hand. Yeah. Coming over. I don't know how that works, but...
the value add that you give to the customer when he's using SOFTONIC instead of a portal.
Okay.
Tomás, what is the value added that you give to the customer against offer portals?
What is the value add?
Added value, sorry.
I think the main added value is that we order the chaos in the software war, and if we think about PC, the advantage that going to SOFTONIC is that you will find all the software, the most important software available in the market. We provide good search, we provide editorial reviews with pros and cons, we provide comments from users. So we allow the user to make the right decision when choosing the software. You don't need to use Google and search for the feature that you're looking for, and then go website after website looking for the software. The experience on SOFTONIC is much simpler. So I think it's the simplest way to download software. And in the case of mobile, since we don't offer the download directly, it's the proposition must change. And what we are trying is to be an alternative way to discover apps in mobile.
I have here Marta Dominguez. She tweets, always thought of SOFTONIC as a long life CO. I was born before 97. Okay. Did they ever had to cross the valley of death?
There has been, sorry?
Did SOFTONIC ever had to cross the valley of death?
Ah, yeah. Of course, otherwise we wouldn't be here, no? I think the Death Valley, we didn't see the valley. We didn't get to the point where we saw that we were going to fall, because the product was growing, and so it was a successful product. But at the end, you always have the problem: will I have enough cash to sustain the growth and to scale the company? But that's another problem. But the product was successful, and as for the cash, since we had really low cost structure, we were not burning out of money. So it was not. I felt quite comfortable by that time. I had the ability. I think I had the advantage that I didn't need to invest a lot of money by that time in growing the company, and that gave comfort. It was not a high risk, but the problem is this approach is really difficult to mimic and to do it again like this, because as I said, I think you need bigger investment right nowadays, and then you take bigger risk.
I have a question over there.
Hello. Hi, Barnaby here. You may be slightly biased, but I'm really interested to know how you would compare and contrast building a business in Barcelona versus Madrid, and if you would do things differently if you were launching today, and how you would recommend the two cities for different things for people starting a business today. Thank you.
He asked the same question over Twitter, by the way, I see now. Thanks.
So there are two questions. One is Barcelona versus Madrid, and the other one is what I will do differently today.
Yeah.
Okay, similar question what you already made. Barcelona versus Madrid. I think Barcelona has more startups. I have the feeling that it has more internet startups than Madrid. It's just a feeling. And there are some sectors where it is better to start in Barcelona. Let's say travel. I think travel is I think it's a good hub. We have a travel hub in Barcelona. So I think it will be better if you want to do a travel site or a travel app, to launch it from Barcelona. But apart from if there are no hubs, I don't see a big difference between Barcelona and Madrid. I think you can find developers both in Madrid and Barcelona. So the answer is, unless there is a hub, there is no benefit from Barcelona and Madrid. Well, there is one. Yeah, I think there is one other difference where I see Barcelona best positioned than Madrid, which is the ability to attract more people from Europe, from the European Union. The advantage of Madrid is that there is more capital in Madrid. But at the same time, the investor from Madrid can also invest in startups in Barcelona. So I will say I lean towards Barcelona versus Madrid for internet startups, but I am biased because I am from Barcelona. But sorry? Yeah, see, I'm biased.
You're biased, yeah, we know. I have another question from Marta, from the audience here. She's wondering about the expectations and challenges on advertising, as your business model has been changing over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And I presume that a lot went from desktop to mobile. But is the business model the same there? And what is your take on the challenges?
Challenges on advertising. I think the biggest challenge is first to make a profitable business, and you need to generate a lot of audience in order to make the online advertising model work for you. So this is the first challenge. If you are not able to scale the audience, then you won't make a profitable business with online advertising. And the second challenge afterwards is how can you balance user experience with advertising. And there will always be fights internally You're putting too much advertising at the expense of user experience, but then salespeople will complain that we are not doing enough advertising. And this will be a clash between sales and product for sure. And this is the second challenge in our advertising. And then the third challenge now, which is quite recent, is the monetization of mobile versus desktop. We are in a transition from, actually the users, I think the users have already transitioned from PC to mobile quite a lot, but the online advertising market has not transitioned so fast. So I would say that we are now in transition in online advertising market from PC to mobile. And I think in the following years, we will see the mobile advertising market growing much more, and it will be easier to monetize mobile audiences than nowadays.
Okay, I have one last personal question, it's a quick one. In 2012, you sold 30% of the company to a large investment group. I believe it was...
Partners Group.
Yeah.
Partners Group.
How much did they pay?
30%.
75 million? Something
could
like
be.
That? Yeah, something like that. I read that. So 75 million, yeah, say. I'm not sure if that's the actual number. But what did you buy for yourself after that deal?
No, I didn't sell.
Come on. You bought something, socks maybe.
No, I didn't sell any stock in that transaction.
Yeah, you just went home and took a beer.
There has been more transactions in the history of SOFTONIC, and I was able to sell in those transactions. So I was not interested in selling in that moment.
No, but so there's no, you haven't bought anything to celebrate your success.
Yeah, I bought a new home. That's all. Typical things. Nothing special. Just a new home.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.